On today's Kirkwood and Dunn, we're doing something special and having a best of show, looking back at the college football playoff run, going from the Big Ten championship game all the way through the national title game. We'll have different clips from our episodes, the ones that we found the funniest or went viral on Twitter or Instagram, and we're excited to cut those up and bring those to you. We also, if you're watching on Spotify or YouTube, will include video clips from the games themselves, some of our favorite plays. So make sure to check it out on there. If you're listening on audio, you'll hear the sound, but you won't know visually what's happening on the screen. So that's another reason to subscribe and like on YouTube and Spotify. Leave a comment. Let us know what's been your favorite part of Kirkwood and Dunn's. It's been really fun getting to know a lot of you. We hope you enjoy this best of show while I'm sipping a margarita in Mexico. Let's go.
Powered by Riverside.
We've said on the podcast all along, Ohio State might win, probably going to win, but like to act like Indiana is just going to get the doors blown off of them, to act like Indiana doesn't belong in this game is a joke. Like, I can't take you seriously. I just honestly can't take you seriously. I'm not here predicting Indiana's going to blow out Ohio State. I'm not saying that. I'm not even indicating that. But just to act like we don't deserve to be on the same playing field, get the hell out of here.
Not true.
Speaking of getting out of here, Tim, you're going to the Big Ten championship game, and you just let me know that you think you're sitting on the Ohio State side. How miserable living in Indianapolis with all these Ohio people coming over. Like when I was, my family's all from Kentucky. We'd go to Kentucky, we'd go to lakes, and they called them the Ohio Navy when all the boats came down from the Ohio. The Ohio Army, Bucknut, is going to be walking through the streets on Meridian and the streets of Indianapolis, going to Broad Ripple. Like, are you just like going to bring some hand sanitizer everywhere?
I'm going to have to break out my COVID era mask to get rid of all of the,
just to block your facial expressions. Like, you need sunglasses and a mask to like rolling your eyes when they're going, oh, wait, and then like all this type of stuff. It's coming.
They're the worst. I can't stand them. They think they're just like God's gift to college football. And it's just like, you're not even close, really, if we're being honest. And listen, Indiana is about to be God's gift to college football. Thank you to our Lord and Savior, Kurt Signetti. But like Ohio State, historically, good program. You're not Notre Dame. You're not USC. You're not Alabama. You're not even like Florida, kind of. Like, you're not even in a way LSU. Like, no. You're just kind of the best of the Big Ten East for years. So like, pipe it down some. I'm not excited about it, but I do expect that the Indiana fans are going to really show out for this game at Lucas Oil. I expect it to be probably a little bit more intermixed. I mean, listen, I bought tickets to this game months ago. I knew then that this was going to be Indiana and Ohio State, so I just picked a side. You know, it's hard to know the exact standings, how they were going to break out, but we'll see. I will be probably like seeing the Ohio State bench, so I'll be doing heavy scouting work, maybe a little Connor Stallions, little relay back to the Indiana bench on some signs. We'll have to see. I'm going to have to really study the tape this week, but I'm going to be ready to take down the Bucknut, whatever the hell his name is, on Saturday.
What a wild course of the last few days for the Kirkwood and Dunn podcast. You are listening to Kirkwood and Dunn. I am Trent.
I'm Tim, the most hated man in America.
You might be the most hated man, at least in Ohio, for sure. I can't say that all of America can get on board, but
that's true.
At least in the state of Ohio.
I have the backing of most of America. Most of America
I think you do.
Yeah, Ohio State, fart noise. But Columbus, I am not welcome. I am not welcome in the state of Ohio.
In all seriousness, Ohio State fans have been fun to interact with. I mean, I don't mind being called the R word constantly and being called dumb and not knowing things. Everyone like super shocked that we started this podcast in November 2024. And somehow that's an indictment on the entire Indiana fan base. I mean, it's just been a constant barrage of interactions from just a little Indiana sports football podcast talking about that we happen to say something about Ohio State. I am just thankful for all the interactions, all the follows. Our stuff is off the metric. And so because of that, Tim, I just have to ask you, would you like to apologize?
Absolutely not. I'm apologizing to absolutely nobody. What would I apologize for? Listen, I want Ohio State fans who are clipping and joining in right now to understand this. What I said last week still holds true. You are not God's gift to college football. We would be totally fine. College football would be fantastic if your program was wiped off the face of the earth. We're good. Helmet stickers, see you later. Like, we're fine. I don't need your chirps in my mentions. You sound like a Sesame Street character. I don't give a rat's behind about Ohio State. There are way better programs out there. I'll go. We can spend a whole damn episode going in on them. I don't want to hear any more about
We're
it.
not going to do that. I don't even know. Maybe I'll clip this. I have no idea. I am not going to go down that road because we do have a big game. I mean, Tim, we made Ohio State message boards. We were clipped for hype videos. There were national people that were reaching out to us about stuff. It was wild. It was fun. And Tim tweeted today, because we're not going to talk about it on this podcast. He tweeted, go find it, at TB Hoosiers. He put out his top 5 God's gift to football programs. Did I get that right, Tim?
Official rankings. The official rankings. God's gift to college football program rankings.
And Ohio State is not on there, just to confirm.
Nope. Confirm.
Okay.
They're the official status that I tweeted out was they are somewhere in the middle. And then officially right behind them is the Indiana football program, but soon to pass Ohio State on Saturday.
That's fair. That's fair.
This is what I said a little bit earlier, hinting at where I go. I think there's a moment, some point in the middle of this game, that we will go back and we will think, there it was. That was our opportunity to flip this or do something to change the outcome of the game. Obviously, I'm predicting a 1-point win for Ohio State. There is a opportunity where Indiana will end up kicking field goals, and thus we're not quite there. And I think Ohio State and Ryan Day will rightly see, like, no, we should go for this on 4th and 3 on the 45. Like, we trust our defense, like, well, whatever, like, we're going to go for it. And that will lead to them getting a touchdown when conversely, like, Indiana didn't, right? Like, I think that's the difference. I think this is a very, very close game. I think this is a game where it's probably late 3rd, early 4th when this game gets decided. I don't see this being like Ohio State up 24-10 with a minute in the 3rd quarter and us getting some garbage time, moving on or something else. I see this as a somewhat neck and neck, never definitely more than 1 score lead, but ultimately the way the things sort of stack up in the decisions lead to a little bit of a shortcoming for Indiana, and Ohio State wins.
Wow, man!
Listen, I told you all, no fear. I'm absolutely no fear to come out and say Ohio State wins. Credit to me.
So for me, it's been hard. I'm not nervous. I will be nervous Saturday. I'm not nervous right now, which is weird. I've been nervous over the last couple weeks and like a month, and there have been moments where I'm like, there's no way anyone's beating this Ohio State team, and Indiana's going up against it. But I've done some self-reflection. I've thought about the lead up to the Oregon game. I thought about why I thought that way, which was we were coming off the Iowa game that was really close. We were, Oregon just had beat a Penn State team that we thought was elite. I mean, they still have great players, but we thought was elite at the time. And Indiana was coming off a bye week, and Fernando Mendoza was was good at times, but even in the Iowa game, I thought we got conservative at places. And I didn't think we could go into Autzen, which we had heard for years was really hard. I want to point out Ohio State lost there last year. Ohio State was not in the Big Ten championship game because, as you pointed out on Twitter today, they had lost 2 conference games last year, and that was in Michigan and at there. So I thought that. Then all of a sudden, Indiana comes in out there and not only like beats Ohio State or Oregon, they handle Oregon. And I have to go, maybe, just maybe, this coaching staff, these players, they know what they're doing. And I have to put my football analysis cap on and say, Ohio State has played nobody. They've not played anybody. I'm sorry. Like, I think Ohio State is very good. I think they're the best team in the country. I think they win 6 or 7 times out of 10 against Indiana this season and this roster. But Saturday is going to be one of the other ones. I have Indiana winning 28-13. And the reason why is because I think it's going to be close early. I think it's going to be the 10-10 game that we saw at Oregon at halftime. And then all of a sudden, what I'm going to see is Indiana start wearing them down and making adjustments. Sure, Ohio State's deeper than Indiana. You could say reverse. Bo Jackson's played really, 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 really well for Ohio State in the last couple weeks. But that's not the same running back room that we saw last year. And Ohio State, I think, is going to get leaned on and leaned on and leaned on. And I think Indiana's going to run the ball and run the ball and run the ball. And then they're going to pick their spots and they're going to get first downs and they're going to move the ball. And I think all of a sudden they're going to look up. It's going to be 21-10 or 21-13. And Ohio State's just going to be like, we'll see them in the national title game. Because I think that's just how that game plays out. I could probably be wrong. I'm most likely wrong, especially with that double-digit win. But I think it's going to be a party in Indianapolis. And Indiana fans are going to see something that they have obviously never seen before. And the college football world probably won't see again. I will say, if Indiana wins like that, I'd probably pick Ohio State in a rematch. Just saying.
At the 24, Mendoza. Charlie B. from Nashville, Tennessee.
Just a disclaimer for all those parents out there. Tim told me this is going to be a not safe for work episode. So buckle up. Tim Byrne. Indiana is the Big Ten champion.
Champions! Eat it, Ohio State! You want to be in my mentions every day? You want to be replying? You want to be quote tweeting? You want to be talking about you're the best program to ever existed? You ain't Kurt Cignetti just stomped on your face!
Indiana. The Indiana Hoosiers. Hey, Tim, did you know that we're the second losingest program of all time? I don't know if you know that. You were at the game. So Fox mentioned that.
Did you know it's been 30
times.
years since we beat Ohio State?
Yeah, did you know we hadn't won against Ohio State since 1988? Did you know that they are the second winningest team in the history of college football? The most by winning percentage? I just didn't know if you know those facts. Before you make your statement, I just want to make sure you know those facts because it had a lot of bearing on this game. How amazing is that clip that you were like, the 1991 Hoosiers are not playing in this game. Fernando Mendoza
is playing in this game. Elijah Surratt, the Waffle House, always open in this game. Carter Smith in this game. D'Angelo Bonds in this game.
We have so much to talk about.
But like the reality might be still in college football that like actually there's like 3 good teams and like 3 and that's kind of it actually. Like everybody else, like
I think you're 100% right.
They're fun to watch, whatever else. But like legitimately, it might just be Ohio State, Indiana, and Oregon. I guess Georgia, people keep wanting to put an SEC team in there. I don't know. I don't believe that Georgia's like some giant figure, but and what I think we're really seeing is that when you actually have like a really strong quarterback in college football, that's a game changer. And when you don't have a really strong quarterback who can make plays, read a defense consistently, not throw interceptions, you really have the upper hand advantage. And I mean, we saw that with Dante Moore in Oregon last night. I think we've all seen it, of course, with Fernando Mendoza and Julian Sand for Ohio State and Indiana. But like, to rank the college football teams, I think you just rank that by quarterback, and I think there's a big gap after those three and everybody else. And I think what we saw yesterday was a lot of poo-poo platter because that's just what it is in the SEC. There's no good quarterbacks. Ty Simpson, I tweeted yesterday, Ty Simpson would get dog walked by Luke Altmaier. Like Kalen
You inspired
DeBoer,
my video, by the way. You inspired that video.
Kalen DeBoer would do backflips to have Luke Altmaier as his quarterback right now. Like, this is what are we talking about with Alabama in the SEC? What are we talking about with Oregon and John Mateer? What are we talking about with Carson Beck in Miami? Get out of here. Like, that was my thing yesterday, watching these games and thinking about the rest of the playoffs, not only how Indiana fits in, but the rest of the entire bracket. Just tell me who's the better quarterback, and that's the team that I'm going to pick to win.
I mean, I'm with you on that. Oh, let me just jump in if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. I do think Ty Simpson is a good quarterback. I also think that, they got those two games. If you watch the first Oklahoma-Alabama game, that game was the inverse of the game that they had just previously played, where Alabama completely outplayed them. I mean, Alabama had like 240 yards of offense in this game. John Mateer was actually moving the ball down the field, and that's like that offense is like worse than Iowa's. Like their offense is a joke. Bad. So so when you get people in your mentions being like, well, they have I have people in my mentions that talking about how Alabama has a great defense, and it's like, well, I don't know, man. I just watched a bad offense go down the field multiple times against your defense, and then if John Mateer doesn't just throw the worst interception maybe I've ever seen, that almost looked like point shaving situation, like. Maybe the outcome of that game is different. They also had a drop where he could have just ran for like 20. They're up 17-0. It's third down. He rolls out. He throws a pass. It's dropped. That ball, he could have just run for like 40 yards on that play. Instead, he just threw the ball. But I'm just saying, like, there was stuff that they left out there, and that was a bad offense. So as much as people want to talk about how, wow, what a huge win. It was a great win for Alabama, but it was also, I thought Oklahoma was the better team, and they just didn't score the most points. I mean, It's kind of how it works in college football.
Tim, I had an Alabama fan coming at me about Aiden Fisher, that he's a liability on the Indiana defense. This is what we've resulted to on like
these fucking idiots need to go chew glass. Like, dear God, like watch some fucking football. Like
he did. He told me he watched every every game yesterday of Indiana, and so Aiden Fisher in coverage is a major liability.
Is gonna turn Ty Simpson into Jake Paul. He's gonna break his fucking jaw. Like, what are we talking about? Aiden Fisher is a heat-seeking missile coming through that sieve of an offensive line. This is the thing. We think about like this Alabama offense and the IU defense in terms of a matchup. As you said, Alabama cannot run the ball against bad defenses. What are they going to do against a really good, like legitimate top 2 defense in the country? Like, absolutely fucking nothing. And then it's going to be 3rd and 8 every single possession. And Brian Haynes is going to, scheme up a zone blitz scheme or something. And I don't trust Ty Simpson to figure it out to get the blocking assignments right. I don't trust the offensive line to execute the blocking assignments. So it's going to take quasi-miracle plays by the wide receiver group out of Alabama to execute and win the game ultimately. The thing that like Alabama fans are going to chirp on it is how they stuff their pillows at night is like, well, we've got all the 5-star talent. And this is a ball knower podcast. We are 3 ball knowers on here. Your 5 stars suck, dude. The problem is that Ryan Williams can't catch the ball. It's a key part of playing wide receiver. Like, The difference is our 3 stars are a lot better than your 5 stars. Da-da-da! Like, that's the name of the game. Like, where do you think all this stuff is like coming from? Do you think Indiana is not here because of like some schedule? They're not here because of like turnover luck. They're not here because of trick plays. They're honestly not even really here because of like I would like true schematic genius. This like I think our coaches are really good, and I think they're on the forefront of college football, like schematically or whatever else. But this is not like Chip Kelly in Oregon in the early 2000s, and people are like, I have no idea what I'm doing. This is not Mike Leach at Texas Tech, right? Like, oh my God, like what are we even seeing out there? Like they know kind of what's happening. It's just really hard to defend. And we're better than every SEC team. Like, it's just a flat out fact. Like, who cares that Gunnar Stockton was ranked the number 3 quarterback? You know who's a lot effing better? The Heisman winner, Fernando Mendoza, who was ranked 125th. So I have allocated already a lot of capital to this gambling spread in many ways. And I'm going to continue to allocate more capital because it is a safety issue when Indiana is going to play Alabama in the Rose Bowl. Flat out. They don't match up at all at any level.
At ST McGee, sure, we started the podcast in the middle of November of last year, right before Alabama lost to Oklahoma, only scored 3 points in Norman, missed the playoffs. Right before that time, just helping Alabama fans frame it for them. And we did that because of a lot of different circumstances. But sure, we did it also because Indiana was winning and people actually wanted to listen to Indiana football content. So we like put out a podcast. It's not offensive to me that we only started a year ago, even though it's the offensive. You can go look at, Kobe Fleming, who's on Twitter, one of our loyal followers. He was talking about, he's like, man, I've been listening. I've been following since 2014, 2013. I was at the Akron overtime game. Like, we were all here. You just didn't care. And I'm not mad at you for not caring. It's okay. Like, I'm not like, we were here and I'm offended. No, it's like, okay, we were really bad. We were bad with your defensive coordinator. Just want to point that out.
Insert Ashton Kutcher from That 70s Show's gif. Burn. Got him. Yeah. Like, who cares? Would anybody right now start a Boston College football podcast? No, that's stupid. They suck. Congratulations. Alabama fans, in their attempt to learning how to read, first read the history of college football going back 100 years. Congratulations. We've all established that fact. Anyway, now looking at the 2025 season and the 2025 rosters, how are things going to go? How do we think that's going to happen? And that's where you and I come in, because listen, you can go out and listen to the Pro Football Focus, podcast, or like there's great deep analytical stuff that you can read on not only this game, but all of college football. I think what we're providing for folks is a different understanding that melds in between, sure, what the data says, but also if I ran into an Alabama fan on New Year's Day at a bar, do you know what I would tell them? That their team sucks, that the glory days are over, and it's time to enjoy being 9-3 maybe every year, and wondering why you can't raise any money to pay your team or pay your coaches. Sucks to be you. Not my problem. Rich program, Alabama poverty program. That's where we're going in the future.
So there's been a lot of myths that are being pumped online that is the same. It's so funny. It's the same as what Ohio State came at us. And it's so weird. Like, the argument against the Ohio State fans coming at us in Indiana, or in Alabama fans coming at us, was like, I never once on a podcast or on Twitter didn't acknowledge that, like, Ohio State's really good. Like, they're really good.
Right.
like they're a really good team. Like, I know, like, Ohio State fans like acted like we were saying that, but we were just saying, like, we can beat you and you don't think we can win, and we can win. Like, that's what we were saying. And Alabama, I'm kind of opposite. I think Alabama can win if Indiana doesn't play well. It's kind of the opposite of what Ohio State was like kind of saying. It's like, I think we can win if Indiana plays really well against Ohio State and Ohio State doesn't bring their A-plus game. I think we can win against, or I think we can lose against Alabama if we don't play our A-plus game and
Right.
Alabama does. Like, I
Right.
think it's possible.
Yeah, listen, credit to us here. I think we appropriately said that we were underdogs against Ohio State, and that it would take a really strong game, but that maybe we could still win, right? That there was a possibility that even if Ohio State played well, that we could still play even better and win that game. What you and I are going to describe here about our matchup with Alabama is ultimately that the way Alabama maybe wins this game, Indiana has to not play well. If Indiana plays well, there's not a world where Alabama wins this game, because the deficiencies on Alabama are pretty pronounced. And the extremely sort of like well-rounded style of play that Indiana comes with, the level of execution that Indiana comes with to these games this season, it prevents them from losing. Because guess what? I don't know if you've looked up recently, Alabama, in your search for records and win-losses. Indiana hasn't lost this season. 0 times. 0 losses. In fact, when 60 minutes have been played, Indiana is the winner, victorious. So we come with a level of completeness to every single game that is going to make sure that we're competitive. Like, this is not an opportunity for Alabama to blow us out with like a talent disparity thing. Like, that's the low brain Alabama fan type of stuff where they're just looking at 24/7 recruit rankings. But meanwhile, those 24/7, 5-star recruits went into Tallahassee, Florida in August and got their asses kicked. So like, why are you talking about talent? Because your talent hasn't really done a whole lot.
Tim, prediction for the Rose Bowl in 2025. 2026. Oh my gosh. it's almost here.
2026? Yeah, let's go. I've got Indiana winning 35-10. This is a pretty strong route. I've said it. I'm not backing down at all. Indiana by 20 plus. 35-10 feels about right for me.
I'm looking up. I'm bad podcasting. I know I'm looking down on the screen. Okay. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. Not the 43-point win. That would be great. But I looked up. I said earlier in the week, and it hasn't been caught by anyone. And I get to do the clipping, so I don't think I'm going to put it on the internet. So Michigan State, Indiana. I said Alabama. It's just basically Michigan State with better coaching. And Indiana played in a rain game against Michigan State. And I think it's a blueprint for how Alabama will play in this game. Michigan State didn't really run the ball, but they did a lot of short passing so that they kept possessions. And then Fernando Mendoza, I believe, without looking at the stats and the offense, scored touchdowns on 5 straight possessions in that game. No, it had been less than that. It had been like, well, it could have been 5. Anyways, the moral of the story is Indiana won the game 38-13. And that's going to be my prediction for this game. I think Alabama is going to possess the ball early. I think there's going to be a lot of stuff on Twitter about, is Indiana rusty? I don't know. They missed Stephen Daly. And then Indiana slowly does what Indiana does to teams at this level. By the way, Alabama is better than Michigan State. I know no one's going to see that, but Alabama is better. But I'm just saying the way that they are constructed and the way that they will approach this game reminds me of the similar team. And they will continue to look like they're in the game, and then all of a sudden they won't be. And Kurt Cignetti and Indiana will not let up. They have 10 days to rest. They're going to keep going. And what might be a 14-point lead in the third quarter, all of a sudden extends out to 21. And all of it extends out to 28 because there's constant passing. Indiana knows what they're trying to do. They intercept the ball, like those type of things. So that's my prediction, 38-13 Indiana. And Tim, you and I will have a very fun New Year's Day.
Yeah.
When Indiana wins.
That's pretty good. Whack. Bursting free. Hoosiers punch fluctuate. An incredible performance. And we still got 14 minutes to go.
We are ready to recap the Rose Bowl game, the granddaddy of them all, which I realized the other day that we hadn't even said that.
Yep.
And guess what? Our first bowl win since the early 90s. Only team ever in the history of the 12-team college football playoff to win off a bye. First time ever. We're 1-0 against Alabama. Alabama's never beaten us.
Fact.
I don't know. Tim, I don't know what other
Fact.
facts you want me to drop to start.
I'll give another fact. This is another quick fact. If you're a Kirkwood and Dunn listener who may be having this podcast on any sort of public speaker setting, to stop that right now. If there are children around, stop that, because pause. Now we're back. This was a belt to ass whooping by the Hoosiers. We fucking told you! 35-10, 38-13. We kicked their ass 38-3. What a fucking belt to ass by the Hoosiers. I'm over the moon about this. We saw it coming. Ball Knower podcast, you and I. This is basically the game that we saw coming. But it's still fantastic to see it actually happen. And to take that last little bit of shred for the fucking Josh Pates of the world, the Brandon Walkers of the world, maybe I'll pick Alabama to win outright. Those people who wanted to deny Kurt Cignetti and the entire team. No, this is like bar none now, full respect. Everybody understands it. The Indiana Hoosiers are the best team in college football.
I'm having an existential crisis right now because you come off the high of just poking Ohio State fans and then winning, getting Alabama and collectively the whole South, because we've talked about their psychology as a conference coming at us and just getting them all mad and then beating them the way that we beat them. And then you've got Oregon fans who probably are one of the more clever fan bases in terms of their main accounts and making jokes and stuff like that. And they're all like, Indiana's a good team. It's going to be a good game. I hope both teams try really hard. And I'm like, I don't know what to do with myself. And it's been tough.
It's something to do where, like, they know that Oregon as a program is still going to be thriving. Alabama and Ohio State fans, you can tell they were grasping on for their glory years the past couple weeks. Like, they knew that Kurt Cignetti, the Death Reaper, was coming for them, and he did. And those are dying programs now, but Oregon still has like a chance to be pretty good. So this feels like them still being like respectful of the opponent. They know they've seen the Kurt Cignetti Death Machine, and they know what's coming for the Peach Bowl. So I think we're going to get a really good matchup out of them, but it is going to change our interactions and our mentions on social media, because they're not going to be calling into their own radio shows like past fans were about how much Indiana wasn't ready for the stage. Oregon knows very well the stage that is going to be had on Friday. I think we win this game because Oregon will be one-dimensional. I think our run defense, we were all worried about Stephen Daly and what that would mean, particularly from a pass rush, because he led our team in pressures and whatever else. But the Indiana run defense is still elite and great. And we're able to do that with even only 7 guys down in the box near the line of scrimmage. We're able to still have our safeties back in pass protection. Oregon still has their number 1 running back in Whittington. They lost Davison this week. They've lost some of their depth. But Whittington's still pretty good. But I think we can bottle him up, and that's going to create 3rd and long situations again. And Dante Moore is going to need to be able to work through the magic of the Brian Hayes defense. And I don't know that a second time around it's going to be drastically better. Going alongside that, though, I think the Indiana offense is a lot better. I think we've seen an emergence from Charlie Becker that we didn't have then. We have a healthy Omar Cooper and Elijah Surratt and E.J. Williams for this whole game, presumably. I think our offensive line has gotten better. I think our running backs have gotten better. And I think Fernando himself has gotten better in terms of his passing and his decision-making. I think the Indiana offense is so well balanced and complete that I think anything that the Oregon defense is going to throw at us is probably going to be able to get solved. So I expect Indiana to really be kind of unstoppable in a way on offense. I mean, I'm not saying we're going to score 60, but I think the Indiana offense is going to be really, really good. And we're going to see the defense probably still dominate just like it has the last couple games.
Oregon is on us in the Midwest. If you're an Oregon fan and you're coming to hate watch us and be like, these guys are idiots and don't know ball, welcome. Thanks for the click. But us in the Midwest know two things. We know what a tornado watch is, and we know what a tornado warning is. Tornado watch means that there is an environment of which a tornado could form. A warning means a tornado has been spotted in the clouds or on the ground, right? Well, we are on belt-to-ass watch for Oregon. And the reason why we are on BTA watch is because of what you just said in your last point. Fernando Mendoza is a completely different quarterback than he was in that Oregon game. And he was pretty darn good in that Oregon game. He made one mistake, but Elijah Surratt abused the Oregon defensive backfield, abused them in that game. And consistently, Fernando Mendoza found him. Now you got a Fernando Mendoza that seems to like to move out of that pocket a little bit, find that open space and find those guys. And now you have to worry about over the top Charlie B from Tennessee back there waiting for the ball to just come right down into his arms. I don't know how Oregon stops him. Oregon's defense is better than Alabama's. Oregon's defense is a top 10 unit in the country, I would say. I think this Indiana offense showed in the Alabama game because Alabama has the athletes that everyone was worried about, including you and I in the Penn State game. Like, that's what we point to. It's like, well, Indiana, when they play those athletes, maybe their offense doesn't look that good. I think Indiana isn't playing at another level right now. So I think that's how they win. Because I think the defense just is consistent. They're going to give up 0 to 16 points in this game.
Yeah.
And all Indiana's got to do is go score 17. And I think that's going to be the difference in the game and in the offense. And that's why they're on BTA watch. They were BTA warning for Alabama, but BTA watch for Oregon in this game. And that's Indiana does that.
I've got Indiana winning this pretty comfortably, 38-10. This is unfortunately blowout city. There are plenty of analytical models out there actually that are now after the Rose Bowl telling you that this Indiana football team is just as good as the 2019 Louisiana State University Go Tigers, like Hall of Fame team that everybody just glazed over, that you and I glazed over watching. Like, my God, this is what a train to watch this team steamroll through. People were ready for it because it had LSU on the side of the helmet. They weren't ready for Indiana to turn into that, but they did. So
Yep.
I think this is a steamroll situation. I've got the Hoosiers big.
Man, like you said at the beginning of this podcast, when I asked you what your vibe is, I probably went into this week thinking we weren't going to do anything. And then, yeah, I mean, I think I have to account for Oregon's injuries. I have to account for Oregon's vibe
Transfer
around their
portal.
program. Transfer portal. And not only transfer portal of players transferring out, but their coaching staffs having to be all. Kentucky's been one of the most active transfer portal teams in the country. You don't think Will Stein's a little bit focused on that? Dan Lane's on the defense side of the ball. He's not on the offense side of the ball. And I'm not. And it's offensively that I'm not sure Oregon actually is a national championship contender. I really want to go 38, up where you are. I said 38-13 for Alabama. I have a lot of respect for Oregon. I just don't. I'm gonna go 30-10. 30-10. I'll say a little bit lower than you. I mean, the Oregon fans are going to listen to this and be like, these guys don't know anything. It's like, oh, yeah, but except we predicted almost every outcome for Indiana because it's easy. Sure, Tim and I are not football scientists. We are not scouting and going to break down of the Mike and drill or the Mike linebacker should be in this position with this angle and his hips should be. That's not us. Never will be. but this Indiana team makes predicting their outcomes pretty damn easy.
Pretty easy. And listen, for the Oregon haters who are going to be like, my God, how could you predict 38-10? Buddy, come on in here. Okay. The game in Autzen was 30-20 final score. All I'm predicting is basically one more touchdown for Indiana. I think their offense is a lot better, and to not throw a pick six. That's exactly what I'm picking. Yeah. That's all it is. It's the exact same game. It's still belt to ass. It's just going to look worse on the scoreboard. 38-10 Hoosiers. This is easy.
And I really do believe Indiana fans are going to show out. It's going to be an absolute home game.
And the IU fans making it difficult for more in Oregon right out of the gate. De'Aaron Hill Jr. is the running back. The quick pass is intercepted. It's going to be run in for an Indiana touchdown. D'Angelo Pons on the first play of the game.
This one is just for the Peach Bowl. The Oregon Ducks barely got off the bus. Actually, I texted someone last night, Tim, and I said they did get off the bus. Indiana just kicked them in the dick after they did it.
Immediately.
It was incredible. So Tim and I were there. We're going to talk about the game. Impressive first play by D'Angelo Pons to just absolutely read Dante Moore and what he was going to do.
Jump the
route. Tim, you talk about a tone setter. It was an incredible tone setter.
It was an incredible tone setter. It was I really can't wait to watch this game again, on TV and see what it was like, on the television screen. But in person, that moment, the only thing that even compares to it, and it's something that only me and maybe 18,000 other people can say, is the watch shot. I hate to bring in basketball immediately right now, but whatever. That's the only thing that compares.
I am just like wanting to,
basketball season's coming. I do know I heard on my road trip today that
do you remember when we scored that touchdown against Akron?
And in that same moment, it's the whack of the play and the crowd immediately totally losing their mind, and a crowd that is so dominant in Hoosier fans, right? Now the watch shot was to win the game. This was still the start of the game, but the unison of it was delirious, right? You're jumping up, we're all jumping up and down. Yeah. We're high-fiving everybody.
My wife. I literally tackled my wife.
I'm high-fiving the Oregon fan in front of me. They didn't want it, of course. I was just patting them on the head, doing all the things. The best part about it was as everybody else was jumping up and down, my pants were just falling to the ground. I was totally pantsless during the entire interception return, but nobody noticed. Nobody in the entire stadium knew because everybody's just jumping up and down and looking up into the field. Nobody could have seen it, but I had to reach down and grab my pants up at some second. That's how exciting this play was. My pants stood just as much of a chance on that play as the Oregon Ducks. D'Angelo Pons, God bless you, man. What a kickoff! What a start to this game, and that's when you knew it was it didn't you cannot. We said it. You cannot gift this Indiana team a chance. You have to play flawless football, and the fact that Oregon immediately was flawed, I was this done. Game's over. Game was over immediately.
Let's go back in memories because we, as a podcast, really got known during the Ohio State, the Big Ten Championship week, leading up to that. Tim made some comments that Ohio State fans didn't love. And for those who are new, and we have a lot of new people, I'm going to walk you through this. He did say that Ohio State is not as prestigious of a program as the University of Florida. So it was a little bit of something that they got mad about and was there. But our whole narrative during that week, I remember this specifically because I was very intentional about this, is one, we were very respectful for Ohio State. We thought they were very
as an opponent. Yeah.
As an opponent. And we were a little bit of the mindset of you're not taking us very seriously, and all we have to do is win one game against you all. We don't have to win 10. So, yeah, you might be more talented than us. You might be all this stuff, but we just got to beat you one time, and we think we can do that. And they didn't like that. They didn't respond well to that. Lot of we're going to bookmark this. We're going to revisit this, all this stuff. shut down. Fast forward to Alabama, who doesn't respect us at all. Alabama fans also were a little not in the intelligent end of the spectrum that was on the internet. And they were very much like, you're, F around and find out, right? Like, SEC, we're so tough, you're gonna figure this out. And all the analytics at the time were like, Indiana's gonna win. Like, FBI was like 74% or 71% that he was gonna win. Bite Size Bison was still doing his stuff, and he had a high percentage chance of winning. They were just a bad matchup in a very different way than Miami, but a bad matchup. We were very confident we're going to win. And not only we're going to win, we're going to boat race you. And a lot of we'll bookmark this, we'll do all this stuff, come back. Then it goes into Oregon. And Oregon and Tim and I were confident. I think we were caught up in the Alabama emotion. But I will speak for myself. There were times where I was like, Oregon's a really good team. I think that they could beat us. And like, I didn't think Alabama could beat us. If you think about those three things, and Oregon fans are great online. There was some stupidness, but like, that's every fan base. I'm stupid at times. Where does Miami fall on your spectrum of those three engagements?
I would say they fall on the Alabama level of stupidity, but the Ohio State level of my success or my respect, excuse me, for them. We're going to do a full game preview next episode or over the weekend here. But there's some matchups here that I don't like for Indiana. And I still think we're favorable in those matchups at an individual sort of like subgroup level or whatever else. But I think what Miami fans are leaning on is an area where they've appropriately identified what it's going to take to win. They haven't articulated it really well. They've been really bad about it. There are parts of this matchup that I think nobody's talking about, but there are things that will be worrying me a little bit. But the difference is they don't know how to talk trash online.
No.
It's so bad. They're just tweeting out pictures of their 400-pound offensive linemen. Like, buddy, that's not it. That's not how this works. And then the thing is, like, ultimately, when we've had the exact same kind of national matchup. Now the difference is more national media guys are respecting Indiana, picking Indiana, blah, 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 where they weren't just a month ago in the Big Ten championship game. But the same thing is still there. Well, look at all of our talent. Nobody would ever take the Indiana defensive line over the Miami defensive line. Nobody would ever take the Indiana offensive line over the Miami defensive line. Nobody would ever take a Indiana wide receiver over Malachi Tony. Blah, 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 blah. And what every single person has failed to remember is that this is a team game. There are 11 players on each side. It is the entire offense versus the entire defense of each side. And Miami, though, has problems, okay? Louisville found out some of those problems, okay? Like Jeff Brom, please, buddy. Like, Jeff Brom figured it out. I'm pretty confident in Mike Shanahan and Kurt Cignetti could figure out how to attack this, right? SMU beat y'all, and they have a quarterback that can't throw. Their SMU's quarterback can't throw. Buddy, what do you think Heisman Doza is going to do to you? Heisman Doza's had 5 incomplete passes the last 2 games. 5. He's thrown 8 touchdown passes against a defense that's better rated than the Miami defense. So while I've got plenty of respect, it's like, buddy, that mirror needs to come up. And you need to start looking in your house before you start stomping out, because there are problems here for the Miami Hurricanes.
I shared a lot of my thoughts on Sunday. It is the thing that I think that is being missed. And it's kind of to your point about like, this is a team game. It's all facets of the football game. It's about balance. It's about limiting mistakes, like those type of things that Indiana does better. And that's why we're really, really confident going against teams like Miami statistically, because Miami has a quarterback who's mistake prone and seems to get confused at times and doesn't quite have the arm post-surgery as he did pre-surgery. And so we're kind of like there's a lot of that. But man, Tim, I tweeted the whole clip of Miami not taking a knee in against Georgia Tech and running the ball and instead fumbled. And Mario Cristobal in the press conference said, "Oh yeah, we should have taken a knee." Mario Cristobal, you're going to hear a lot about his redemption this week. You're going to hear a lot about like, well, maybe we need to consider him as a top coach, blah, blah, blah. Because Mario Cristobal has always been known as a program builder and a recruiter.
Yeah.
He is widely seen as one of the worst in-game coaches in college football. Let's hear your score prediction for Indiana Miami.
I have been ruminating on this score all morning, trying to figure out what it is, because I will be placing a wager on the exact score as well. At 250 to 1 is 42 to 14. And that's my final score prediction. I think I would also add a fun little TB Hoosiers bet of the week. Fourth quarter total points is sitting at 13.5. Take the over there. This is a national championship game. So I suspect early on a little bit low scoring. It could be even 0-0 at the end of the first quarter, maybe something like that. Second and third quarter, Indiana sort of pulls away. But then Miami's going to be desperate in the second half, and they're going to be chucking the ball. And Carson Beck's going to have to take some risks to try and catch up and get back into the game. You can see turnovers. You can see Miami having to go for it on fourth down on their own end, side of the end zone, etc. So I think this becomes a pretty big blowout. Maybe they get a touchdown late just because, but I've got Indiana 42 to 14, 16-0 national champions.
So, I've been very confident this whole postseason going into games. Oregon was maybe the most nervous I was. We still picked, I think, a 2-score, 3-score win, 38-13 or something like that. No, that was Alabama. I don't know. I get tired of picking all these blowout scores. Like, I just want to see a good college football game. Not really, actually. My heart can't take it. Let's just, keep blowing people out. People, this is the thing that I've heard a lot this week about Indiana's blown two good teams out, good to great teams out. And so, it's college football. And college football, you never know. The bounce of the ball, they're college kids, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know what it is about this Indiana team and the confidence I have. But statistically, obviously, on paper, they win this game by quite a bit of cover the spread pretty easily.
Yeah.
And then with my eyeballs, I talked about this earlier. The matchup of Miami versus Indiana is just such a bad matchup for Miami. I've watched Miami a lot. I know they don't like it because I love watching Mario Cristobal make dumb decisions. It's probably my fourth favorite thing to watch in the college football season. So I tune in a lot, and I tune into those bad ACC games. And I was laughing at the Texas A&M Miami game, that should be held on a pedestal as good football. It's wild to me that that's getting thrown out there. And they have bracket luck confidence. Yes, they beat Ohio State, who I think is a good team. But as we've mentioned, maybe they weren't as good as we thought they were. And Indiana being down Omar Cooper was kind of a problem in that game. I don't know. That's the only thing that's there. But they didn't have to play Georgia. They had to play Ole Miss. And they should have lost. Yes. Not because Ole Miss was better, but because Miami does what Miami does and almost throws the game because they don't know how to put people away because their head coach in-game coaching is the worst in college football. So, with that being said, we have the best coach in college football. We have the best offense in college football. And hate to break it to everybody, we have the best defense in college football. Those combinations leads me to say Indiana is not going to let up on the gas in this game. They're putting up a 50 burger. 56-9 because Mario Cristobal will kick 3 field goals in the first half, and then the will of his team will be broken, and the amount of penalties we're going to see in the second half might set a college football record. Michael Irvin might get a penalty in this game for how his reaction. And I cannot wait for the meltdown of Miami former NFL stars hating on this group, this Miami group, these poor kids that are playing a juggernaut in Indiana, and just hating on them that they don't represent the U. We've seen it before, and this is going to absolutely set Mario Cristobal back because Curt Cignetti in his home stadium is going to embarrass one of the worst in-game coaches. And yes, I am specifically saying in-game because I respect the hell out of Mario Cristobal's ability to change a culture around, to recruit and build a team. I respect that. But in-game, it's going to get embarrassing. I think Miami will be back. I think that this isn't over. But what the narrative will be after this game, it's bad news for the Hurricanes. Indiana, 56, Miami, 9. Any reaction?
Belt to ass. Everybody Monday needs to prepare. What belt are they going to wear and then slap around any Miami fan that they see when they're watching this game? Love it. This game is a runaway. This is a runaway. This is as easy as it gets, actually. Anybody who's talking up Miami, they're just trying to find the other side. Every single thing points to this being a dominating win for Indiana.
Here we go. Got to get to the 8. He's going to take off and run. Mendoza weaves his way first and goal. Diving toward the end zone. Touchdown! That's why he won the Heisman Trophy.
Tim, we are national champions. National
That's
champions.
Right. We, Kirkwood and Dunn, national champions. That's what it's all about. We did it.
We did it. We did it. We are the podcasts of the national championship team. Like,
Yep.
how
fact.
okay.
Confirmed fact.
Tim, where are we? What reality are we in? I'm hoping I'm reflecting. I'm super tired. Just got back from Miami today. I'm so tired. I hope I'm reflecting what a lot of Hoosiers are feeling right now. I know after the game when we were walking out, everyone's like, we're national champions. They would just exclaim. They're just in the concourse like, we're national champions. Like, what?
This is like, I feel like Curt Cignetti got all of the Infinity Stones and just snapped his fingers and was like, I'm in charge now. I run college football. All of you are like just peasants for me to play with. and that's what happened. Like, it's crazy that like we have a fully undefeated season to our name. Like, we will go like hundreds and hundreds of days from in between losing games. Like, it's beyond like magical. We have transcended into a new plane of existence. Like, we are in, I mean, we've said it like in so many different ways, but like, this is a new world of college football. Like, whatever you thought college football was, certainly pre-COVID or even like right after that, like, this is a brand new world. And in this world, Indiana football leads from the front and is a blue blood and is a powerhouse and is a favorite and is a national fucking champion.
You are listening to the Kirkwood Dunn podcast. And as you know, we have been on this ride, this journey with you as confident as possible. But even our confidence at 16-0, we have to stop and take it all in. You put out, I just wanted, like, we're going to reflect. Like, before the game, like, we got to just take a moment to reflect. And our fans, I met some fans, Tim, when I was there. Like, I was walking down Dan Marino Boulevard, and someone goes, "Go Hoosiers!" I'm like, "Yeah, man, let's go." And he goes, "Kirkwood and Dunn, right?" I'm like, "What?" Like, you're like, I have no idea who you are. Like, this is awesome.
Let's go. Hey, home field, we are looking for sponsors. Come on in, home field.
So like, I like that was really cool. That was a really cool moment for me because it's not like, oh yeah, you get recognized. Like, that always feels good. It's because like people have been on this journey with us, whether it's through clips or like listening to our full episodes.
And they know how confident we've been. And the best part is they've seen the reaction to our confidence from every fan base.
Yeah.
Ohio State, by the way, this is when we started clipping, was the Ohio State Big Ten Big Ten title game. Alabama, Oregon, and Miami. And everyone mad at us all week, saying we're not attacking everyone on
Yeah.
Twitter, not just Kirkwood and Dunn. You're not football fans. You don't know football, buddy.
You just started watching football 2 years ago.
I've been watching college football my entire life. Yes, I was not born an Indiana fan. I had no connection to them whatsoever. I watched Kansas State lose to Texas A&M in 1998. I knew pain for a really long time. I became an Indiana fan, and I absorbed their pain like a sponge. And to be here is just it's as a college football fan, this is impossible. This does not happen. First time national champion since 1996. 96,
Yeah.
Tim.
Yeah. This is trying to like put this in some context. And it's like it does for our Indiana fan listeners, they kind of know the context. They're like, yeah, we know it wasn't very good. I never had to budget for bowl game travel. Like that wasn't a thing we had to do. They had to know. But I saw one of my more recent favorite Indiana Twitter accounts, Indiana Edits, posted a thread just sort of like, hey, everybody just like chime in. What was your first like IU game? Like, what is it that you remember? Like, forget all these haters from Miami and Ohio State and Alabama and Oregon and anybody else. Like, what was that like? And I had to go back and look. Because there's a part of it that I absolutely very vividly remember. It was October 22nd, 2005. Freshman year Tim, which was a hoot. Freshman year Tim.
This is pre-academic probation, Tim.
Oh, but well on his way to academic probation, Tim. Well on his way. We were playing at home. We were playing Ohio State. So I didn't buy like student season tickets because it was Indiana football. You just didn't do that. And we're playing Ohio State at home. I'll spare everybody the details. They don't need to go look it up. We lost 41-10. But more importantly, I stayed the whole effing game because I wanted to go look up when it was. And I watched in the fourth quarter, Indiana already down 34-10 at that point. Ted Ginn Jr. run back an Indiana punt for a touchdown, like 90 yards. And it was like watching the fucking Flash himself against that Indiana football team. And you just watch and you're like, oh, that's actually like a championship caliber team. Those are NFL players. This Indiana team is not that, whatever. And we watched the Indiana football program like really, get better ultimately over time. But it was lots of slow progress from 2005 to 2020, really for 100 years. And we felt like we were getting better a little bit, but it just seemed like the mountain would be so high to climb. To really be at a national championship level seemed like a place that would, who knows how long it would take us to get there, but we would never probably really ever get there. So last night, like that's what I'm thinking about, which is what is that more than the like merch that I'm going to end up buying, the apparel, the commemorative posters, all of that.
Anything. And where do we go from here? Tim and I will have Sunday where we'll be back on Sunday to do our normal podcast. Folks, it's over. It's over. It's over. Like, it's over.
That's why I said we're winning 3 out of the next 4 national titles. Like, Cignetti, he's got us, man. He got us. Maybe we'll call it luck. Pam Whitten and Scott Dolson we're talking all about the hire and all the traits they looked for and everything else. And I'm not going to tell them they're wrong or whatever, but I do think there is some degree of luck, and we did it. We got the coach who knows how to coach elite college football. Nobody else wanted him. That's everybody else's problem to go figure out now. But I'm so excited because what we have identified early on is that Signetti is the guy. He's the guy to lead the program. He's going to bring us to new places before, and we are not letting a single barrier be put in his place. Like whatever he needs to do, we are providing the support, and it's so clear what that means for the team, the athletic department, the university, the alumni community, the local Bloomington, city community, Indiana, like in Signetti we trust. Absolutely.
You can follow Tim at TB Hoosiers. You can follow me at ST McGee. You can follow us on all accounts, Instagram, TikTok. Please like and subscribe on YouTube. Spotify, follow along. Apple Podcasts, follow along. We're at Kirkwood and Dunn on all platforms. Indiana is 16-0 and the 2025 national champions. Let's go.
You know what to do.